The Trump administration is now being criticized even by some gun rights advocates after it emerged that one of the men killed, Alex Pretti, was legally armed when he was shot dead. This debate has exposed a deep fracture within Trump's own electoral base. It is January 24th, 2026. A second deadly shooting involving U.S. federal agents has just occurred. A 37-year-old man, an intensive care nurse at the Minneapolis VA healthcare system, has been killed by gunfire from U.S. Border Patrol agents. His name? Alex Jeffrey Pretti. He was not a radical activist. He was not someone wanted by the justice system. He was a nurse, a caregiver, a man described by his family and colleagues as gentle, committed, and deeply humane. A man who had spent years helping others, often at their most vulnerable moments. That morning, Alex was not there to protest with a megaphone. He was not standing on a stage. He was not leading any armed group. He was among other citizens near a federal immigration operation, organized as part of a government campaign known as Operation Metro Surge, a large-scale initiative by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, aimed at arresting and deporting undocumented individuals in several cities, including Minneapolis. Tensions have been building for weeks. Just days before Alex's death, another American citizen, Renee Good, had already been killed by a federal agent, sparking local and national outrage. That day, amateur videos captured a scene that would soon go viral on social media. In the footage, Alex can be seen filming the situation with his phone. He does not rush toward the agents. He does not threaten anyone. He is seen stepping in to help a woman who had just been pushed back by agents. He is then sprayed with pepper spray and forced to the ground. The videos also show that he is not brandishing a firearm at that moment. The only thing in his hands is his phone. And yet, seconds later, gunshots ring out. Alex is hit multiple times. He dies at the scene. Federal authorities present a very different version of events. According to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and administration spokespersons, Alex allegedly approached agents while armed, justifying the use of lethal force. They claim his behavior constituted a threat and resistance during an attempted disarmament. The truth? Alex's family, friends, eyewitnesses, and the videos themselves tell a different story. A man who legally carried a firearm, like millions of Americans, but who was holding his phone, not his gun, when he was attacked and ultimately killed by federal agents. His mother, father, and loved ones spoke publicly. They described a man who wanted to help someone, not harm anyone. They denounce what they consider a false official narrative, one that turns their son into a threat, an internal terrorist, as some officials labeled him, without visible evidence in the footage. And this is where the story truly shifts. Because in the already deeply polarized debate over gun rights in the United States, this case becomes uncomfortable. On one side are those who have defended the Second Amendment for decades, the right to own and carry firearms. For many, this right is sacred. It symbolizes freedom, independence, and the ability of citizens to protect themselves. It is a cornerstone of a certain vision of America. But what happens when that very man, a man legally carrying a firearm, is killed by federal agents for possessing it? What happens when the videos show no clear threat? And what happens when even gun rights organizations, typically politically aligned with the Republican Party, turn around and demand answers? That is exactly what happened. Voices such as the National Rifle Association, NRA, once unwavering in their support of the Trump administration, have called for a full investigation into the circumstances surrounding Alex Pretti's death. They emphasize that no one should be killed simply for legally carrying a firearm, especially if that weapon was not displayed in a hostile or aggressive manner. Other pro-gun organizations and civil liberties advocates, including groups usually aligned with conservative politics, also expressed serious concerns about the official narrative and the justifications provided by authorities. Politically, the situation is explosive. While President Donald Trump and some of his closest allies continue to defend the agents and justify the immigration operation as a whole, several Republicans, including influential members of Congress, are calling for independent and transparent investigations. They are demanding accountability, a review of protocols, and stronger oversight of federal law enforcement agencies. Unexpected voices, including Republican senators and governors, insists that the use of force must be carefully examined, and that millions of Americans who legally own firearms should not live in fear of being killed by their own government for exercising that right. In the streets of Minneapolis, after Alex's death, there was more than grief. There was anger. There was disbelief. There was a demand for justice that transcended traditional political divisions. Protests erupted, not only against the immigration operation itself, but in defense of transparency, accountability, and civil rights. And this debate goes beyond gun ownership. It touches a more fundamental question. What is the role of the state in relation to its citizens? And how far can it go in the name of security without sacrificing individual freedoms? Those who traditionally support Trump and his hardline security policies, who believe in strict immigration enforcement, now face an ideological dilemma. Support state force even when it results in the death of a legally armed citizen, or question how that force was used. The nation is boiling. Calls for independent investigations. Calls to re-examine federal protocols. Calls to protect citizens' rights. This debate extends far beyond Minneapolis, far beyond the case of Alex Pretti. As we speak today, the questions remain. Why did a man like Alex die? Why do the videos appear to contradict the official version? What message are we sending as a nation when a legally armed citizen can be killed by federal agents without clear justification? And how does a political camp that has always defended gun rights respond when one of its own becomes the center of such a tragedy? These are not easy questions. There are no simple answers. But the story of Alex Pretti forces a divided America to confront what it truly values and what it is willing to tolerate. Because in the end, beyond political opinions, what remains are lives, broken families, communities demanding justice, and a nation that must decide what it truly stands for. Thank you for listening until the end. Don't forget to share your opinion in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss real, unfiltered information